I think when you're outside of your comfort zone, that's when you truly grow. So I think most likely we would be slated for something like a smaller bowl.
Okay, dude, come on. Welcome to the 480 podcast, part of the 480 experience. I'm Strider. I got my co-hosts Trevor and Kai, and we're just here to document ASU. It's a part of the Big 12 now. We love Kenny Dillingham and everything he represents for this program. So guys, the Big 12, how are we feeling? We're finally here.
Well, I honestly hate joining a new conference with our rival U of A, but at least it's not messing up the Territorial Cup or anything. I am excited to play Colorado and Utah still. And just looking back on it, just last year, there was 3 new teams. UCF, BYU, Cincinnati. And let's just say they did not have a really good welcome. The Big 12 may have been very hospitable, but their records did not reflect anything of success. I think the worst team last year was Cincinnati. BYU did its fair share because, it's hard to play wherever it is in Utah there are. But the point of the matter is another 4 teams, no longer 12, a Big 12. It is a Big 16. So I'm very excited for the new conference, and shout out to the Pac-10/Pac-12. You are always going to be in my childhood memories.
Yeah, it was a really fun conference to be a part of, but I'm actually very excited for Big 12 and the new possibilities it brings with recruitment and a new media deal to hopefully, entice some athletes to come play for us.
Media. When that comes to mind, I think of Pac-12 After Dark, and that is no longer going to be in our lives. Maybe Oregon State and Washington State can have fun with that little fair, but Big 12 morning, Big 12 noon, whatever it's going to be, man, we're playing some schools.
Dude, some powerhouses, Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Kenny did bring that up.
Yeah.
He was like, there's gonna be some cool places you guys are playing. You guys are playing Stillwater. You guys are playing Manhattan, Kansas. These are known college towns. So yeah, that is a really unique atmosphere. Being in Tempe, we just have so many moving parts. I think these players finally able to lock in a small town in the middle of Oklahoma. It's going to be a cool experience.
Totally. And I think one of the biggest things, too, about us being in the Big 12 is just drawing attendance rates that we haven't been able to pull from the last 2 seasons. And I think that's something that's going to really start thriving at Arizona Stadium is just we're going to start seeing a lot more fans, start filling all the seats just for some of the big games that we got. Always filling it, of course, between the U of A games. Always going to be just things going to happen between us.
And then from the back end, too, just think of recruiting, right? Now this opens up a lot of opportunities for pipeline states for Kenny Dillingham to go off. The whole reason why he's pushing the whole Activate the Valley narrative is because that's basically his brand. That's his promo. He understands his position of, I have 4 years. I have a plan to execute or else I'm going to simply lose my job. So he's already thinking ahead of time. I've seen him on plenty of pressers going into his 2025 recruiting portal and already making noise. That's just some cool stuff. You're already thinking almost 2 years ahead of time on your recruiting portals. It's like, man, that is looking for something to be efficient, and hopefully we can actually see a program that's flourishing under someone who I think these guys would really run through the wall for this guy. Just not even because he's an alumni, but he's a player's coach. He's a true player's coach.
Yeah, and he's just absolutely shown his love for the program, even just in his short time here.
Yeah.
It's been really exciting to see, and very exciting that new recruitment opportunities are now open for these guys.
Totally, and with some of the bigger new recruits still that are coming out for Arizona State is like Jason Brown, the 4-star running back right now that's coming out of Seattle, Washington. Going to be one of the best 1-2 punches, in my opinion, in the Big 12 with Cam Scadaboo just running. Having that run game there, I think is going to be really important for Arizona as they're entering the start of this Big 12 season.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about this entire thing is Kenny Dillingham. Let's kind of bring the audience back. his background entails a lot of Bo Nix's journey, and he also had a background with Jordan Travis at Florida State. So being at Auburn, Florida State, and then Oregon, you're looking at these pass-heavy schemes, and to think he's kind of pivoting his entire style, because we're really immersed into this running game now. I mean, you brought him up. I really love every single Brown. Jason Brown, Kyson Brown, Raleek Brown, Cam Scattergood, DeCarlos Brooks. I mean, this running game, I fully believe, I've been saying it before the game even came out, but I think we have the best running game in the Big 12. But just, that's a huge pivot for Kenny Dillingham. You've never seen him flourish without a passing scheme. And I mean, we're gonna talk about Levitt, we're gonna talk about Sims, we're gonna talk about Burgett, but I would not say this is gonna be that high rate offense that Kenny is used to. And I'm excited. I think there's gonna be a lot more adversity to come with that.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a run to open up the passing game.
Yep.
Always love that style of football, that grind it out, 4 quarters. It's going to be low scoring games, but I think that actually fits the Big 12 very well.
Yeah, let's hope you stack the box. Let's hope you stack the box, and we'll run a play action. We'll have all your linebackers running through those gaps, and then you're not going to be able to catch our quarterback throwing a nice little crosser, a nice little dig, whatever it's going to spread out this defense and have them on their toes. Because genuinely, I mean, Scattergood, that guy ground and pound, power back. I don't even know how to really explain it, but I think probably his best NFL comparison is like a bulkier Devin Singletary. They call Devin Singletary motor because, it implies you're just a hard runner. And I like Scattergood in that role. And now that we can finally see Raleek Brown, I think he had too much pressure on him last year. Just pressure to be RB1. He had Caleb Williams right there, right next to him. I think he's going to flourish under this RB duo. So, I mean, we've really built through the trenches. I mean, we have a lot of new transfers coming in, a lot of recruits. I think our 2 guys to kind of embark on from last year, Maxie Encore and Ben Coleman, they are some really good, solid guys, high energy. I've seen Ben Coleman around campus. He's even showed up to my restaurant, and I've even asked him, I'm like, hey, do you guys use Open Doors? Like, can we hit you guys up on Open Doors? He's a cool guy. He's from Temecula. Temecula usually breeds some good people. But, I mean, we're looking at Jordan Atkins out of Hawaii. He's going to be a significant transfer. He's going to be slipped under the radar, but I think we are really building the trenches so we can have a dominant run game.
Yeah, of course. And I think one of the biggest things, too, about that has been the offensive linemen that we picked up, too. Yep. Not just from the transfer portal, but also from our recruiting process during the offseason. I think has been phenomenal. I think Arizona, too, has a lot of upside with that, such as guys like Sesmai Tonga. I think he's going to be a great guy, 3-star recruit out of Utah. Yeah. And I just think there's so much upside to the people that are going to be defending that ground and pound game for ASU. I just think there's so much potential there too, just for people like Cam to just have a decent amount of time to get out of the pocket.
Yeah, just think we got Max, Jordan Atkins, Ben Coleman, and then a few Pacific Coast guys, Joey Sewell, Terrell Kim. Who's going to take that right guard? Cade Briggs is an amazing veteran for that interior O-line. I mean, it's really just about the communication with the quarterback. I mean, is that quarterback going to be able to read the box and audible out of a run play and switch it to a play action play? Is he going to be able to watch his keys? Because I think this O-line, I think it's going to become immersed. They're going to grow together. So
exactly, and with that, it's more important than ever that our wide receivers can produce at the level we need. And got a new coach, Hines Ward. Kai, what do you think about that?
Personally, I love Hines Ward. I think his role that he's going to have at ASU is going to be so huge. I think his impact is going to be top tier. A guy that's been looking to become a Hall of Famer now for the last couple years, and I think he definitely will get in pretty soon. But I love Hines Ward as a coach back in 2017 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, just right after he retired, and I think he did a phenomenal job. Even though our offensive coordinator at the time was not that great. But I definitely love the way Hines Ward coaches. I think he has a spectacular eye for players, especially in terms of development. I think, honestly, a part that he really thrives at is being a put it into college football video game terms, is a tactician, because I think he's really good at putting players in the positions they need to be and putting them in the right plays they need to be as well. And I know Hines Ward always has looked at wide receivers that are deep threats. And I think that's something too. One of the guys that we just got from the transfer portal is going to do, McLean. I think McLean's honestly going to be a guy that's going to thrive underneath Hines Ward's coaching. I think they have a lot of similar comparisons too back in their early college football days. So I love everything Hines stands for, and I think he's going to be a great role model for these guys. And even Kenny said himself, he was looking for a guy that can just step into the clubhouse and immediately everybody will listen. And I think Hines Ward is exactly that guy. I think there's so much potential that he brings to this team, and just so much player development too that he's just going to bring to the wide receiver room. And I think even though, as you guys said, we're definitely going to have like a heavy rushing offense, I do think our wide receivers are always going to be great options, especially just with Hines Ward being the head coach for that.
Okay, I got some speed on the outside for whoever our starting quarterback ends up being. Trev, what do you think about all of their coaching hires this offseason?
Kind of, okay, so like for the audience who can't really put a picture to Hines Ward, I would just like to say this guy is probably one of the best run blockers of all of NFL history.
Oh, totally.
That's what Hines embodies. He embodies that aggressive approach of, if I'm not running a route, I'm going to run you over. And like, yeah, we look back, and we may kind of devalue that role. But again, pivoting back to this whole running game, if we're telling Corbin Hendricks, if we're telling McKillen, if we're telling these guys, Xavier Guillory, if we're telling these guys to put someone on their butt, we're telling them to bust the DB open so Scadaboo and Raleek Brown can break the outside because Ian Core or Jordan Atkins are sealing off that edge, that is only going to make this entire scheme better. You guys know that all 11 players on that offense are responsible for a successful running game. It isn't just the 9 players that are just right there or the 5 players in the trenches. It takes every single person to not only commit, but also execute their keys and watch that play call literally burst into fruition. The only way a running back is going to succeed is by the rest of his teammates. And so going over like the entire coaching staff, like I love Brian Ward. I mean, I think he's really, really going to grow with this front 7. Like basically Kenny Dillingham is building a running game and a defense that can stop the run. It's not that simple, but when you kind of break it down into the players that we have, the talent that we have, we're looking at a Prince Doorball year 2 with ASU. We're looking at a Roman Petrie transfer, a Jamon Tapp, a Zach Swanson transfer, 2 guys from Texas, 1 guy from Purdue, high-producing individuals who not only have the intangibles, but have the vision of seeing themselves as unique pass rushers. I think, man, Brian Ward's going to have a field day. I know they're going to talk with Kenny because Kenny's kind of like that OC. He's the head coach, but because he has all that OC experience, he's naturally going to be a predominantly offensive coach. And so living that, I mean, Brian Ward is going to have all the workload. He's going to be running this 3-4 pass rush technique where we have to let these edge rushers just pin back their ears and find that quarterback. And that trenches, they're going to stop the run. I guarantee it. I mean, I know we could go over what are the best running backs in the Big 12 right now. I mean, there are tons of them look at the new CFB game. I mean, we got Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State. It's literally a 96. I mean, who's the Kansas running back? Who's
Devin Neal.
Devin Neal, what is he?
Yeah.
87 is what I'm seeing.
87? All right, who's the Cincinnati guy or the...
What's his name? Let's find it.
Let's see. Texas Tech guy. Oh, right there. Taj Brooks. 92. Come on. I mean, we have to play Texas Tech our 3rd game.
Yeah.
And we're going to Lubbock on September 22nd, and you're telling me we got to play Taj Brooks. That is Brian Ward's job right there. He's going to be watching film on all of these running backs for the entire offseason. You're saying, oh, they have the next 3 weeks off still? No, they don't. They're still becoming obsessed with this film. It don't matter if Ollie Gordon got a DUI. He's still the best running back in all of college. So, it really doesn't matter. But, man, going off of that, I'm really excited for the trenches, offensively and defensively. I think that is how you flourish in the Big 12. You have to have a heavy trenches game, and maybe that's why we didn't do as well in the Pac-12, because we were so spread out, because it was a high-rate offense. Maybe we just weren't flourishing in that conference.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, last year, everybody saw it. It was not the funnest year of football to watch. But
Frustrating,
Yeah,
man.
that was rough.
It really wanted you
We
really.
didn't even get beat that bad, man. Like,
I
we
know.
could have beaten
We had to-
Colorado.
we
couldn't
could have
beat
beaten
The
Colorado.
Fresno State game was pretty bad. The 28
Okay.
to
well,
0
that
loss.
was-
The
that
28
was-
to 0 loss was
Kenny
pretty
even
rough.
said, he was like, that was the worst game of my career.
I mean,
So, if you guys
we
even
beat. Hey, we beat Cedar City though,
Yeah.
guys. Come on.
That's true.
Oh my god.
Well, listen, there was
were some
literally-
highs.
Yeah, there was
Let's
literally
just
people.
say, you can't get worse than getting fired after losing to Eastern Michigan. All right, sorry, Herm Edwards.
Oh, boy.
Enjoy ESPN. You should have stayed there. I know you had a great thing with AP. You guys really did something for the culture, but it was not sustainable, man. It was not. And how much was Ray Anderson getting paid? I mean,
so much.
Look at that, man. We got rid of our.
Wasn't it
AP.
close to like 1.8 million?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh
Like,
my
he was
gosh.
the highest
yeah.
paid professional of all of the state of Arizona.
And it's
For
just
what?
it's like we're investing so much into this program and we're not getting much out. So my question is, can we expect anything different this year?
Oh my God, anything different. I think when you're outside of your comfort zone, that's when you truly grow. And I think this is the year Kenny is out of his comfort zone. He's no longer going to have and to rely on this high rate offense or that system quarterback like Bo Nix, who just, he can spit out every offensive scheme. I mean, he doesn't have the intangibles, but he has it up here. And Kenny doesn't have that. I mean, you could talk about Levitt, you could talk about Sims, you could talk about Vergay. They are game managers. Sims is more of an athletic dual threat guy. He hasn't really had that experience of having a successful passing campaign, but it's gonna be running game. It's gonna be trenches. If you're gonna beat the complacency and grow through the adversity, this is the way to do it. I really do think we're gonna go above our win total. I mean, what our win total is?
Wasn't it 4.5?
Four and a half games.
And
Yeah.
there's and it's unlikely that we get 4.5 wins plus 120. So,
wild.
man, I just think like what's our schedule? We're in the Big 12 now.
So let's just go over it real
Let's
quick.
go over
Yeah.
it. Let's feel it out. What's
We
the
st-
energy telling us? What are some record projections we're feeling?
Okay, let's start with the first game.
Okay.
We start at home against Wyoming. How are you guys feeling about that?
Oh, Wyoming. Is Josh Allen still on the team?
Nope, he's not.
Oh,
Thank
thank
goodness.
God. Thank God. They usually got some good linebackers. They usually have some good trenches. I mean, it's our first game. I think Sam Levitt pulls out. I think he's going to come through with the week 1 start. I mean,
So is that your
Are we predicting
yeah,
a win
is that
here?
your prediction of who your QB1's going to be?
Oh.
it's going to be hard. I think it's all chemistry. I think we have a better chance of losing to Wyoming than to Mississippi State. I honestly think because we get those week 1 jitters out, Wyoming's going to kick our butt like Fresno State did last year. Like
Everybody's going to be watching the Colorado game in the stands.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like, there's gonna be like other games going on. Like, oh, what other games could we watch right now? And it's like, no. Like, ASU is in it for the long run this year. It's not gonna happen immediately because they don't have the talent to make it happen immediately. Those guys, it's just not gonna happen like that.
I mean, that's always kind of been the promise with Dillingham. Like,
Yeah.
we just got to let things progress.
Yeah,
and
like a process almost.
yeah, it's a process. And so that week 1 win might not come. I would say more than likely we might drop that game against Wyoming. But let's move on. Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah.
know ASU has never beaten an SEC team? They have
Yeah.
lost all 5 matchups against an SEC team. And guess what? They're in the Big 12 now. We can't hide from these SEC teams anymore.
We
So-
are in the Big 12. We are 0-5 with SEC opponents. I think the last time we played an SEC opponent was 2015. It was Georgia. You don't want to hear the end of that one. But, man, like I said, outside the comfort zone. When you fight through adversity in football, I think that is when you grow, not only as men, but as a team. And Mississippi State, let's just say, out of all the SEC teams, I'd probably choose them or Vanderbilt to play. So thankfully we're playing one of those two. I mean, I used to be able to say Tennessee or Missouri, but look at those teams now. They're completely different. Missouri is crazy good. I love Missouri's offense.
Yeah.
And Tennessee, I mean, you've already seen the consistency. Literally 2 years ago, they threw a field goal post in the lake because they beat Alabama.
Which, to be fair, was one of the best moments in college football, by the way, during that season.
That was probably my favorite game of 2018.
Oh my gosh, it was
Tennessee,
amazing.
Alabama was nuts. I mean, I liked Bryce Young in that game. I think Bill O'Brien, shout out Bill O'Brien for Boston College. I think he's really going to build that program back in the ACC. But, man, when you just see system quarterbacks take over, it's pretty funny. Because it's like, from the audience perspective, it's the player. But when you actually know football, it's the OC.
Yeah.
So, Bo Nix, Kenny Dillingham. And I mean, I know you're going to say, well, Bo Nix was amazing last year. Bro had his brother. He literally had his foster brother playing with him at wide receiver, and he had all this talent, and now he literally gets to play with the same receiver for the Denver Broncos because they drafted him as well. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like there's a sense of familiarity with that guy's career, and with Kenny, I don't think there's any sense of familiarity at all. You got Raleek Brown, and that's your talent. You got Scattaboo, that's probably your closest thing to sense of familiarity. But you can't say you're familiar with Trent Burgett. Bro's injured all the time. You can't say you're familiar with what? Jeff Sims, he just came in 2 months ago. Sam Levitt. Yeah. Oh, man. Like, Sam Levitt really had Keon Coleman at Michigan State with him, and then Keon left because he didn't want him to be this quarterback. He preferred Jordan Travis. So that already tells me, okay, maybe that doesn't instill a lot of confidence in the guy. But hey, he's a 77 on CFP 25. Let's give him a chance, right?
We'll give him a chance.
Yeah.
Just to go back.
Yeah.
Our matchups against SEC teams all time. We've played Georgia twice. 2 L's. Okay. They've scored 23.5 points against us. We had a matchup against Louisiana State. They scored 35 in that game.
Oh boy.
Missouri, 24 points. We scored 20 that game. Texas A&M, always a tough place to play, but College Station, but they dropped 38 on us. 38.
Hey, but that's how Vegas works, right? Everyone looks at this record and they're like, no way Arizona State beats Mississippi State. I guarantee you we go into that game as underdogs, especially if we lose to Wyoming. I really think we got a shot at that.
Of course. And Mississippi, in my opinion, I think their defense is very zone coverage heavy. They have a bunch of great cornerbacks and a bunch of great DBs. However, one of the things Mississippi really lacks at this year especially has been their defensive tackles and their outside linebackers. I really don't think they're going to have the best time stopping the rush game. I think they're covering wide receivers. I think it's going to be a very heavy rush game that game. And I don't think it's going to be a big passing game for ASU just because of the outstanding cornerbacks at Mississippi. But, I mean, I do think, like you said, controlling the trenches, I think that's going to be the biggest part about getting that W at Mississippi.
Yeah, let's kind of break it down to you guys, all right? This is the body type of our receivers, our 2-star receivers. Corbin, 6'3", 215. McKillen, 6'4", 214. Dude, these
big
guys
dudes,
are
big
beasts, bro.
Yeah.
And Hines Ward didn't have that, bro. Hines Ward is a 5'11", bald, bulky dude. He grinded his butt off in the NFL because he was so good at his unique value, his unique archetype. Don't you think he's going to pass it on to these guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just think Hines Ward, like I said before, I just think he's got so much potential to like inspire something in these wide receivers. And I think we're really going to see a lot of these guys just step up.
I think they were going to want to play for each other.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think the community there at ASU is going to be even better this year than it's probably ever been within the last few years.
Yeah, it hasn't always inspired confidence.
Yeah, that's
because you look at after Daniels left a couple years ago. I mean, it was a terrible look, and we were in the middle of a scandal with Herm Edwards. It was not a fun time.
Imagine being Kenny Dillingham and you come in your first year and you have to make a self-imposed bull ban on your team.
Man.
A self-imposed bull ban.
How often?
Yeah. Your first freaking year, bro.
Do we know how often anyone's done that?
You're the youngest coach.
Wasn't it one of the first? It was like one of the first times I think during that specific point of the season, if not ever, where someone has self-imposed in bull ban.
And Kenny was the youngest head coach, and the entire nation. I think he turned 32 this year.
So young.
Yeah.
So young.
So week 3, we're opening it up. Big
Yeah.
12.
Texas.
How do we
Texas
do?
State.
Lubbock, Texas. We're gonna get that on vlog. Don't worry. But I think we would not want. That's the only way to welcome ourselves to the Big 12 is to stomp that door open.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's going to be a super exciting game. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And just like that, 2 out of those 4.5 plus wins, right?
They're potential wins.
potential,
I'm not
yeah.
going to sit here and I'm not going to guarantee you those
Yeah,
wins.
Exactly.
I
It's a
do-
gamble, right?
It is a gamble, but
I do love Texas State though, especially though too, just because their wide receiving core right now is actually pretty strong this year.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to be a team that we're really going to have to try to stop in terms of their pass game, which is great because I think the zone coverage that we're going to run this year potentially is going to be, I wouldn't say lockdown, but I think it will definitely be pretty good at stopping teams like Texas State that has guys that aren't great at running corner routes, especially, which they've, in case you guys don't know, usually were picked off a lot the last 2 years. On all of their corner and zig routes, just stuff on the outside, they always have had trouble with their wide receivers in terms of catching the ball in that specific spot. So I think as long as ASU targets that, I think that's going to be a big weak point to extort for Texas State.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I give them amends, but ASU is really going to go to San Marcos, Texas, and then they're going to go to Lubbock, right? The only better way to kind of open your eyes and open the light to the Big 12 is by going to Texas.
Yeah.
I know Texas and Oklahoma, they're now SEC schools, and they're going to face the consequences of that because there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Even Oklahoma had Dylan Gabriel leave. I know Texas has all this hype right now, and Texas is usually the Dallas Cowboys of college football. Let's just say that.
Absolutely.
Let's just say that. They always say, oh, we're going to win it all, we're going to win it all, but I mean, they did well. They had a good game against Washington. It was a really good second half, but even when you have those 2 amazing receivers and you had I want to say it was Adonis Mitchell and Xavier Worthy. When you have those 2 guys,
Xavier Worthy's quick, man.
bro, they're monsters, bro.
He's monsters.
What is it, like
First round draft.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the fastest since what? Philip Dorsett.
I think he did break it.
Did he beat Philip Dorsett?
Because it was like he finished with almost double.
Or was it John Ross? One of those 2 guys that
Yeah.
speed demons.
Great pickup from Kansas City, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That was beautiful.
It'll be
Even
interesting.
Adonai Mitchell for the Colts, bro. I mean, don't
yes,
sleep on him, bro.
Yes,
like,
yes.
He's gonna do well with A. Rich. Like they're gonna have an
Yes.
Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman. They're gonna have their own
It's
squad.
good. Hey, it's gonna be a fun team to
There
watch
was that
next year.
Michigan State 2 defensive tackle that got picked up by the Dallas Cowboys that ran like a 4.3 at like 320. He was insane. Or it wasn't probably that fast. I think it was like a 4.4, something like that. For a guy such a size, I thought that was awesome.
And kind of going back to like our receivers for ASU, we're usually a receiver program. I mean, we're gonna just look at N'Keal Harry. We're gonna look at BA, Brandon Ayuk, who I hope is a future Steeler.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
like, dude, these guys are monsters. We even had Chad Johnson Jr. We even had, these guys are crazy good. So, I'm obviously excited for McKillen, Corbin, but Guillory is also going to be really good. Jake Smith out of USC's transfer, coming back home. He was a Scottsdale kid. We'll see how he does, how he can kind of adjust to things. I think we do have the talent. It's just about getting the ball to the receivers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched that Jeff Sims tape, and against Colorado last year, that was probably one of the craziest Fox games.
Yeah.
And it was funny because after that, it was, Colorado is the best team. They just beat TCU. They just beat Nebraska. They're legit, right?
Yeah. So
And then look at
so
what
legit.
happened.
Yeah,
so
so
legit.
legit.
Look what happened the
The
rest of the
fall-off
season.
was
And I'm not
unreal.
dude, by no means am I a Colorado hater.
Well, I
think-
actually think they're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
they are.
They're a
bro.
lot of fun.
And like,
And
bro,
my
they're gonna be.
Good energy. They got great energy.
They had a good
They did.
energy, yeah, and I give them amends. They got Seaton is going to be one of the best tackles in all of college football.
For sure.
And it's as hard as it's going to say, U of A does have a really good tackle as well, unfortunately. But going back to the pass rush, all right, Prince Storball, Tap, and Roman Petrie. I think we got him. I
Absolute
think we
beast.
really pinned back our ears. The whole thing about football is you want it to be situational downs. You want to get the position where you have the leverage. And when you stop the run and you force it to be a 2nd and 8, and you force it to be a 3rd and 7, and you make that hard to manage down for those 3rd downs, that's when these pass rushers can pin back their ears and just go. They can use their pass rush moves. They can go and they can do a split technique to where the pass rushers go inside and the D tackles go outside and they run a stunt. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Brian Ward to expand on these schemes and to really just let his players just play football, man. Let them be athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to beat some of these really good schools, but schools with a lot of holes, is make the quarterback win the game. Don't let these Texas teams live.
Make the quarterback.
Yes, make them step up into the pocket and make that throw. Contain them in the pocket and make them make the correct decision, because that's the easiest way to win.
And that is why they think we're projected to be last in the Big 12. Because what is our quarterback position? It's a big question mark. Unless you're Sam Levy, you're going to obviously believe in yourself. But unless you're a freaking ASU freshman running an ASU dynasty, you're going to believe in the guy because you got no choice. But man, oh my God, I really hope that we can make some situational offense. I hope we can succeed, man.
Yeah, for the record, we do want you to do well. Like,
dude,
if you're watching this, we are absolutely rooting for you. We are absolutely rooting for you.
Call out, man. Like, you got the weapons, bro. And if anything, just call those keys. If you need to audible it back into a run play, just do it. Because honestly, you don't need to cause any turnovers. We have a really good team. We just got to stay ahead of the chains. You know, every football program likes to say 4 yards every down. That's it.
Yeah.
2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 1st down. That's all it takes, man. And we got some fast guys. I really like Raleek.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Hey. So what are we thinking? We're thinking 2-1, maybe 1-2 up to this point.
We beat Texas State and we beat Mississippi State, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we go to Lubbock, and that's our Big 12, and I do think we beat them.
You think we beat Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In our
we're built to beat them.
Big 12 matchup.
Who's their running back?
Let's look it up.
On the EA, they're really good.
Taj Brooks.
Yes. I think we're built to beat a Taj Brooks running back. It's like,
so.
Dude, it's like, I think him and Ollie Gordon are the same archetype. Like, they're very aggressive, hard to bring down runners. But when you're facing running backs like that, the defensive motive is to get contact on them before the line of scrimmage. If you can at least get one person behind the line of scrimmage, at least disrupting his gap or his scheme, dude, just having him bounce into a D lineman, I think we have that opportunity there.
Yeah, so no confidence in Morton? Is that what I'm hearing?
What was his stats last year? He 15-8, 1,700. Not bad.
Not bad. Did he get injured or something?
Yeah.
He might have. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I don't know if I would go as far to say that I think we'll win. I mean, our first real Big 12 matchup, man.
That's the only way to do it.
But here's the thing: there's gonna be a lot of pressure, dude. I think the players, they're gonna feel it.
We're healthiest. We're the most healthiest at this time.
Think about that is impossible to say though. We could.
But listen,
dude.
Is it?
Scattaboo could be injured at this point of the season. We can't predict that.
Project?
Why are you saying that?
No, I'm not wishing that. I'm not wishing that. I'm just saying it could happen.
Is it easy to project that through the more Big 12 games, the more injured you're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's your first Big 12 game, that's probably going to be the healthiest you are, and instead of a mid-season Big 12 schedule.
I get that. I'm just saying I'm not willing to.
We'll have fresh legs.
But what I think we all can agree on is I think that Kansas game is going to be an L.
I agree with that.
Okay, dude, come on.
No, yeah, definitely.
Okay. I was about to say no way.
It's going to be one of those Fox games where it's just a lot of offense, and whole thing is this, right? Jalen Daniels, he's an amazing passer. He's an amazing dual threat. We have the DBs, right? We have we have Rodney Bymage, we have Cole Martin, Kamari Wilson. Dude, our DB core is freaking nice, dude. We even have, Cole Martin out of Oregon. Everyone sleeps on him because he's 5'10", bro. Dude, he's about to be a monster, dude. I hope we put him in the slot. Rodney's going to be a great CB1. I already know it. Rodney Byman's going to be nice. But when Jalen Daniels can completely manipulate your defense because of his legs, dude, you can't predict that. You can't plan for it. And so, dude, I like our inside linebackers. I'm a huge Tate Romney fan, but I think he's just more of a downhill linebacker. I think he's just not going to be able to catch a Jalen Daniels, and if they give him 2 seconds, bro, Jalen Daniels is gone. So I probably, in terms of like hyped up Big 12 quarterbacks, I think he's one of them. I think it's literally it's him and the U of A guy. It's literally him and the U of A guy.
Yeah.
Fafita and Jalen Daniels are the 2 quarterbacks who are gonna run the Big 12, and then everyone else is going to their running backs as their quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went to the Kansas UNLV bowl game at Chase Field last year,
That's
and
awesome.
I watched UNLV's, wasn't he a freshman quarterback, just pick Kansas's defense apart. He scored 36.
Yeah.
The final score is 49-36, and so you're right. I think it's going to be one of those high-scoring games. I think it'll be fun to watch.
In Tempe too.
Into
That's our first Big 12 home game.
Yes, and
Yes.
it's going to be a
Holy
blast.
I think there's going to be a really big draw to attendance for that.
I
game.
hope
Should
we
be
pack the
huge.
stadium.
That is crazy. We will, bro.
If you-
it's
hey.
gonna be a midday. They haven't. It's TBD, but it's gonna be a midday, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be hot, but who cares, bro?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. yeah.
Show up.
gonna bring
We
my
need
mister.
attendance.
Oh my god, you guys are gonna want to show up because you guys are gonna want to be on the vlog.
I'm just going to
watch.
bring my mister through the stadium. I don't care what anybody
Yeah,
says. man. I'm
dude.
going to be chilling on my
Dude,
seat.
no.
Keep yourself
dude.
cool somehow.
Yeah,
Oh
for
my
sure,
God,
bro.
Yeah, that is gonna be crazy, and because we'll have all that hype from that Texas Tech W.
There's
We might. We're 2-2. I think we start 3-1.
I
and
think
then
more
we go
than
on
real.
to-
I think the most like realistic outcome is 1-3 through that stretch.
Oh my god.
See,
I think we start 3-1, and then we go on a slump.
Okay.
See, and I do feel what Strider's trying to say, because I feel like if there was going to be a loss early on, I do like in the first 4
Tech.
games.
It's gotta
I think
be
it's
Tech.
gonna-
I'm
it's
gonna
got to
be
be
a
Tech.
blue block. We're
It's
not
got to
gonna
be.
lose
It's
that
got to be.
I think you're just biased because you don't want to see a loss when you travel to go.
Dude, nah, bro.
When that's your first official Big 12 game.
But if
obviously
you're
we're
new
not
to a
wanting loss.
conference, how do you make your name known? You win that first game.
But it's
Yeah,
not
but not
as easy just to go.
everything is like a picture perfect story,
I
man.
know, but
Like-
like I said, the situation, the less Big 12 games, the healthier you are. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you'll be the
But
But
freshest.
hey,
at
do you
that
want to
point.
know? You want to know something like a very similar thing applies for Texas Tech? Let me look up their schedule.
Oh man, how
Tech.
did they even do last year? What were the? How'd they do? in the standings?
They had a positive record. Let me
I was about to say, I don't think they went under 5, but I could be
They
wrong.
did not go under 5. They were 7-6
so
and
they
went
made a
5-4 in conference play.
That's what I thought.
Is
That's
that
pretty good. Yeah, they made a bowl game.
okay? So look, they're
So do you
playing.
see why
Abilene
we're saying that
Christian.
could
Yeah,
be a
so
lot?
that gimme, maybe
Okay, but
potentially
they're playing
gimme.
Wazoo.
Okay, Wazoo. What's
In
left of
Wazoo.
the Pac-12? The Pac-2.
No, in Spokane.
They're not. They're
Oh,
not
wait,
in
no, no,
Spokane. They're in
it's-
Pullman.
In Pullman.
They're
in
not in
Pullman.
Spokane.
In Pullman though. That's hard to do. That's
Then they're
hard.
playing North Texas and then ASU. So like,
Yeah.
what are we
Yeah,
talking
so we're
about
their
here?
first L.
Oh, okay.
Boom. We're their first L, bro.
I mean, they got to lose
Try to-
eventually, but
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know, man.
dude.
As
Texas Tech is not as scary as us going into Oklahoma State or going into Kansas State in November.
Oh, I will never-
Those are two
yeah.
hard ass
I will-
games. Bro.
No,
I'm not saying
you know
that.
that.
I understand.
So
okay.
that's why
Hey, you want to know what's going to be a really hard game?
don't say it.
Utah.
Utah.
Hey,
I
the
hate
preseason
Utah.
polls are projecting them to win, and it's win the conference. It's not very close, guys. It's not close
Yeah,
at all.
it's huge.
Everyone knows. No one's out of loop on this. Utah was pretty good last year. You know, they had a
They
pretty
didn't even
successful.
have Cameron Rising. Their starting
No.
quarterback
Yeah.
was injured.
No, so
They still were good.
let's see what he can do this year.
Utah's had a wonderful performance too within this offseason in terms of the transfer portal as well as their
Yep.
recruiting process during this offseason. I think it's been phenomenal, and I honestly think there's a lot of freshman hope that this team has. And I definitely think this is probably going to be the toughest game on our schedule.
What's funny about Utah is they align with our scheme as well. It's a ground and pound and stop the run.
Yeah.
And what was funny was last year, even though we were in the Pac-12 high rate offensive style, Utah still had those low scoring games. They
Yeah.
had games where it was like 13-10, low scoring under 20 games, and that just goes to show they're not going to lose their brand, especially in the Big 12. It's more just going to honestly just bring out and highlight even more. So
Yeah.
man. I mean, What are we thinking? So we're gonna drop 2. You guys think
Oh,
we're
really?
gonna be 2-4?
Nope.
I think we'll be 3-3.
You think we'll be 3-3? Okay.
What do you-
Well, here's the thing.
What's your so far for you for the first 6? Oh my gosh, what are your projections, Strider?
It's
you
hard.
guys said 2-4.
Don't be biased.
I think it's gonna be 2-4.
Because we could beat a Texas State, and we could beat
We can-
one of the Mississippi.
I think we beat
or
Texas.
Wyoming.
I
I think Texas
One of
State.
them.
And
I think
Wyoming.
it's more likely. I know you were saying the opposite, but I believe it's more likely we beat Wyoming
Yeah.
and Texas State than
That's
Most
what
likely,
Mississippi.
I'm saying. I think it's Texas State.
And then we get a little bit of relief, guys. Cincinnati.
Hey.
Not that. Hey,
easy.
not guys. Not that
Easy.
they. Not
In
that there's
the
some.
middle of October, and our Tempe guys are gonna go to cold Cincinnati in October 19th.
Honestly, I think it's going to be a relief to all those guys. Honestly, I'd love to play in the cold if I was an Arizona player. Oh my god.
But not that cold, man. Cincinnati's.
Yeah, I'd rather play in a state where I feel like I'm not gonna die
Not
for just
when you're
playing
numb.
5 minutes.
Yeah, dude. When you catch that ball and it stings,
That's true.
Is that
That's
something?
true.
Is that something they're wishing for? Are you sure
Yeah.
about that? But
Is there any talent on Cincinnati on the CFB squad?
I think.
I
there's a
mean,
few.
Luke Condra is
Right
a
guard.
73. That's
And then they
okay.
no, that's his numbers. Overall's 91.
Oh, 91,
So they have a
is that what we're
91
dealing
overall
with?
right guard and a 91 overall D tackle.
I mean, they're
They
nothing. They're nothing.
they
to,
got trenches,
They're
but
not.
they're skilled.
They're nothing to scoff at. But there's a
Yeah.
reason they're projected to finish with the third worst record in the
Well,
Big
they
12.
were the worst last year.
Yeah, and they're banking on a little bit of an improvement, but they're not. They're still behind BYU, Baylor, Colorado, which is cool.
Well,
But
and Cincinnati's biggest downfall too recently has just been their transfer portal acquisitions. Nothing has really been been coming from them the last year or two. I mean, they're all depending
in
basically
the last
on
couple
juniors.
years, they were in the national
Yeah.
championship a few
Like
years
the
ago.
Bearcats.
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
Cincinnati's biggest issue though right now is they're playing with almost a lineup full of juniors. I mean, I wouldn't say biggest issue, but they almost have no guys on the come up right now in terms of freshman acquisitions.
I got
And
it.
they have some sophomores they can depend on, but some of their top senior players are obviously leaving after this year, and I think they're going to have a rough couple starts to start off the season next year with losing some big guys.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can
At
get
this
down
point,
with that.
you guys are slating us at 2-4, or no, 2-5, 2-5.
I don't know. I think we might be able to scratch out a win
Yeah.
against Cincinnati. I think.
I think Cincinnati.
So you guys got us at.
Here's the
at
thing,
3-4?
Dillingham's a good
3-4.
coach, guys. Like
Yeah.
we.
Yeah, exactly.
While this roster might not have the most talent in the Big 12, it's going to be a fun team to watch, and we're gonna pull out some surprising wins.
Yeah.
That's just college football. That's
Yeah.
what brings us in. If Arizona was guaranteed to lose all of the games that they're projected to lose, why would anyone watch?
True.
Yeah.
So give me a win in Cincinnati.
I got to win in Cincinnati in my book as well. I do think Arizona takes that game against Cincy.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel good. So you guys got us at 3-4. I'm at 4-3.
All right. Well,
I'm
we're
at
not
4-3.
we're not too far off.
It's
Let's.
because we know, Utah and Kansas are just
Yeah.
hard games.
They're
bro.
good squads. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's move on. Oklahoma State, guys. What are we feeling?
Stillwater or Halloween in Stillwater.
Yes, on Halloween. Pretty neat.
Yeah, Halloween weekend.
Halloween weekend.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be a
that
blast.
is-
Yeah.
Dude, Oklahoma State is like our freaking. It's like our Achilles heel.
Yeah.
We never handle against Oklahoma State. Why?
You think Dillingham can break that curse?
Bro, he lost to them last year.
I know.
It's like, and we
Hey,
had a
this year's not last
It
year.
was decent too. We had a good first half, but then that second half was just pathetic, bro.
And the running game is going to be great this year too, especially with Ollie Gordon being their main
Dude,
halfback one, who's
Isn't
rated.
I think he's the best running back in college.
I think he is with a 96 overall rating, which is absolutely insane.
Unreal.
But I think OSU's just got a great offensive line too, and I think they have the potential to just make big plays for Ollie Gordon. So I don't know. I feel like OSU in my book is a loss.
Okay.
Damn.
As much as I'd love to say that that's a
we at
win.
3-5.
I mean, but right now we're kind of on track to finish around our win total, man.
We might hit the
we
five.
Could, we
might
can
hit the
still
five.
go above our win total at this point.
This is hurting me, man.
I mean, if you look at the rest of their schedule, UCF, Kansas State, BYU, but not in Salt Lake, in Arizona.
I think-
And then the Territorial Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we progress, man, there's still time for us to go over that win total.
And then
So
what's
let's
that?
talk about the
what's
next
that
game.
bye week looking like? So we have a bye week before Oklahoma State. How that doesn't factor into anything?
It might. It might.
I think ASU is a great team too at building momentum. I think they're a great team.
October 9th and then November 2nd. Dude, you're going to get a flight from Columbus or Cincinnati all the way to Tempe, and you're going to have a good little 12, 13 days to chill until you have to fly to Stillwater.
They're gonna come in ready.
Yeah.
That's what we can promise.
I think they come in ready. I think we have a better chance of winning in Oklahoma State than in Kansas State. I think we lose a Manhattan, Kansas State senior night more than, it's going to be their homecoming game because it's their last home game over an Oklahoma State Hall weekend.
Okay, but I don't know. Oklahoma
It's gonna
State's
be
pretty
hard.
good, man. They're pretty good.
State's been pretty decent.
Let's look.
Devaluing us.
Okay, but let's look at the preseason poll. I'm just gonna keep going back to that
all
to set a baseline for
We don't know
expectations.
what our team's gonna be
We
yet.
don't, but we also
We're
don't.
We're built to stop the run. If we're
They're
healthy,
projected to finish third.
We
let's just
are
look
a
up.
team that is built to stop the
If
run.
we stop, if we're healthy, I think we can.
But
I think
however,
we could
OSU's
upset Oklahoma
offensive
State.
line is absolutely outstanding this year. I mean,
Yeah.
just with Ollie Gordon being behind, I think he's a crazy halfback. I just think he gets so many yards against us, even though we're a team that can stop the run. I just think I think he leads that entire game. I think that's a player of the game for that, to be honest.
Okay.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah,
mean-
I'm gonna say L.
You're gonna say
I'm
L?
just gonna do it.
Oh no.
The streak against OSU continues.
We're at 3-5.
They're a good team, man. They're a
They
good
are.
team.
What's it looking like after OSU though, Strider?
UCF,
Yeah, dude.
University of Central Florida,
Yeah,
guys.
How you feeling about
this
that?
is where I think we're 4-4, and I think we get this W because we're gonna be home. And it's like we gotta win this. It's a must-win game.
No matter how our schedule shakes out, it's a must-win game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
it is a must-win. Like we gotta win that home game. We gotta show up for the crew.
Yeah, it's gonna be at home. It'll be
sure.
fun.
But I think when you put in the energy aspect, we're probably gonna be pretty injured for that game after Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
but every team's injured at that point
Yeah.
in the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, though, too, it'll be an exciting game to watch.
It's
after
gonna be fun
3
because
weeks.
if Levitt gets injured, then you just got a completely different offense with Sims.
Yeah.
Or if Levitt gets injured, they put in Bourget. I mean,
Yeah.
or Burgett.
You guys are
I like Trent Burgett, but
bashing on Sam Levitt's.
I have not said
health.
anything bad. I don't think I've really.
Not
even
on
bashed.
Sam Levitt's ability, but his health.
bro, I just look at like the tangibles, and like what's tangible is that Keon Coleman was a star receiver for Michigan State, and then the year after when he found out Sam Levitt was going to be his quarterback, he immediately transferred and went to Florida State.
Yeah.
So like, what does that tell you? An NFL receiver didn't want to play with him.
I mean, it was redshirt
Yeah.
last year, but okay, guys, Kansas State. Is this winnable?
Manhattan, bro. That's crazy. Manhattan.
See, I think Kansas is going to be a really tough team this year. I think they're going to be a team that
It's
really
their
comes out
homecoming,
swinging.
bro.
Yeah.
It's their last home game.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a night game. They're gonna pull out for that game, bro.
They
Especially
finished
with-
9-4 last year.
Yeah, dude.
Well, and Kansas has a
They have
lot of
great
good
defense.
seniors, too, that are going to definitely pick it up, especially for that game as well, like
Yeah.
what you said, being their final homestand. I think, I don't know, I think Kansas is going to be one of the harder games towards the back half of our schedule.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I mean, you guys have us slated at 4-5. I have us at 5-4.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys saying Al's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I have to go with an L against Kansas just because I feel like they just have a bunch of seniors that are just
so
going to
we're
pull
at
up.
4-6 on your guys' books.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
a bad
it's
season.
And I'm at 5-5.
That's an improvement in
That's
a
an
tougher
improvement.
conference, man.
Oh, bro. But I just like our talent. I really do. Except
I like the talent too, but we got to be. I like the talent on a lot of these
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
And I think though too, especially not just this year, but the year following too, having some of the new head coaches coming in at certain positions,
Damn.
it's just going to be an even better recruitment process for the next
Yes,
few years.
I think the future is very
The
bright.
future is very bright.
but
yes.
this year,
This year, I think it's still the middle of like a
I
rebuild
guess,
almost.
yeah.
I
It's a
feel like
successful season if you go 6-6.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
And-
I think it's a successful
and-
season above 4.5 wins.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I really
That-
want to make a bowl game. Like,
Totally.
If we go 6-6,
Totally.
we'll catch them.
It would. Hey, it would be a lot of fun to make a bowl game, but I'm not gonna hope for it. I will. I'm not gonna. I will hope for it. I'm not going to expect it.
I expect it.
You expect
You
it?
have faith. We gotta
Because
have
if
I
you-
have faith,
If you
but-
self-impose a bowl ban, it just incentivizes you to make a bowl the next
Oh,
year.
totally.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you
I
gotta
guess
do
so.
this for the crew.
Unless we started out again with another self-imposed bowl ban.
Nah,
No,
bro.
we
Back
don't-
to
we have
back
no-
AP
Yeah.
allegations, bro.
Yeah, no, we're
That was
good.
bad.
Okay, guys, this next game is a winnable one.
Easy
BYU.
dub. I think
BYU.
I
easy
agree
dub.
with you guys. BYU is always our freaking Achilles heel as well. Them and Oklahoma State always kick our butts, bro.
So no win.
Dude.
I have BYU.
So you have us beating Oklahoma State.
Yeah, but not at BYU.
Yeah, because it's after a bye week. and
Dude,
we're
but
built to
Oklahoma
stop-
State is a great team.
I
BYU's
know, but
a good
year-
team.
Last year we played Oklahoma State and fared well. It was a closer game. We kept them low scoring. If we execute a little bit better, we could have won that home game.
I feel like that's the story of ASU for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Execute better, and you may have escaped with the win.
Totally. I think BYU's a win personally for us. I think we're
Oof.
coming. I think we're going straight back to being to another homestand after a week. And I think BYU just being at Arizona's home, like that's our last home game of the season. And I think Arizona takes that. I honestly think Arizona's pumped for that game, and I think BYU falls to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in your guys' projection, we're already 4-6. I just don't think they just pull this out. I think BYU's more of in a bowl race. They're going to be like, yeah, no, we have to win this to make a bowl game.
That's
So
true.
they're going to be like, all right, 4-7, and then our best chance to get 5 wins is to win the Territorial Cup and be 5-7.
Yeah, let's
And
get to
that's
that.
That's what Vegas thinks, bro. Vegas thinks we're just gonna kind of float by, maybe steal a Big 12 game, maybe
Yeah.
2, and then we gotta handle against U of A, and that's the only way we get 5.
U of A.
I don't know. I got
Kinda
us
crushed
losing.
us.
I got us losing to BYU too. I got us right now at 5-6,
Okay.
and then U of A.
Hey,
I lost at U of A as well.
I know.
don't think.
you don't?
Hell no. Hell no. Fafita is overrated, bro. I like McMillan, bro. I watched him 2 years ago expose us. I was at the Tucson game. It was terrible to watch because Trent Burgett single-handedly lost that game for us. He could have beaten U of A.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's from Marana, so it would have been cool if he beat his hometown college. But I just think that there's just too much bad blood and adversity to where we're not going to lose to U of A 2 times in a year. You really think Kenny Dillingham, an alumni of the Sun Devil, is going to lose to the Wildcats twice? That is one of his promises to probably half the recruits. We're
Yeah.
going to beat U of A, bro. If you sign up and you're pulling up to Tempe, we're going to beat U of A.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
I mean, the energy's going to be there.
They got a star right tackle, a star receiver, and a star quarterback, right? But it's a star in the interpretation of college football. But are they going to actually meet those expectations? I think McMillan will. I think McMillan's an NFL receiver, of course, bro. Literally, Jalen McMillan went 4th round. His brother, he was
Yeah.
from Washington, and they were that receiving core was nuts. They had Jalen Polk, Rome, and Dunze, and McMillan. That was a crazy receiving core for Penix.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But U of A losing a Justin Coleman running back because their head coach goes straight to Washington, takes the better deal. It's like, bro, like they lost a lot of talent.
They
and by
did.
this point,
Yeah,
they
they're
did.
gonna be a little injured, and ASU is gonna have a chip on their shoulder whether they're 4-7 or 5-6.
Yeah.
It's a bowl game, bro. I think U of A will probably be 7-5 or 7-4 at that point. They'll be like, all right, we got a bowl game. We're good. We weren't amazing this year, but we got a bowl game.
Yeah.
They'll lose it. They'll drop to 7-5, and I think we win. We'll get to 6-6. We'll get a bowl game.
Strider, what's your thoughts on the U of A game? What do you think's the outcome going to be?
I mean, the most likely thing I believe is a loss, but they can pull it out.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
If
They
we
can
lose, remember 4-8.
Yeah.
Don't get this over.
And here's the thing:
That's hurting me, man.
that is very possible.
That's
I
hurting
mean,
me.
you can't just sit here and say that it's not.
It isn't.
It is. It's
It is.
very possible. But Kai, what you feeling?
I mean, I feel like U of A, we've always had difficulty playing away against them. I always feel like Tucson's always been a really tough place for ASU to play, and I think U of A also just has great attendance for that game, and I think that game always just gets loud out there.
Yeah.
So as much as I'd like to believe that this ASU team is very clear-headed and very peace of mind all the time, I do feel like we do get into our heads a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing that coaching staff's also going to work on a lot with players. But as much as I'd love to say we can take that U of A game, I think it's slated for a loss, but I also have very high hopes that can come out to be a win.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest toss-up games, in my opinion, for us. Of course, the last game of the season too. I just feel like everybody's playing their hardest right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think ASU has the potential to win the game, but my automatic thought process is this is going to be a loss to U of A.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So that's our record.
We're going to kind of pivot to this. So these are some of the bowl games Big 12 is slated to have a team participate in. So we have the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Big 12 plays an ACC opponent.
Yeah.
We have the Liberty Bowl. Big 12 plays an SEC opponent. All right. We have the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Big 12 plays a Big 10 opponent. And then we have the Alamo, of course. We always love the Alamo Bowl. And then we have the Texas Bowl. Big 12 plays an SEC. And then we have a First Responder Bowl. So I think most likely we would be slated for something like a smaller bowl, like a First Responder Bowl or a Pop-Tarts Bowl.
If we made
were
it.
to go
If we
6-6.
Love the performance from the Pop-Tart Bowl last year where the Pop-Tart popped out of the the toaster. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but that was by far one of the funniest moments of last season, and I loved it.
So, I mean, in my opinion, you guys have us at 5-7, so we would not make a bowl game under your guys' projection.
Yep.
I have us at 6-6. We would make a bowl game at 6-6. In a Pop-Tarts Bowl, I think we literally could play a Stanford or California from the ACC and get another Pac-12 rematch. Like, it could be something as funny as that. So
I actually love to see the Stanford rematch. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah,
no, even any of them, it would be really fun to watch. But it's just, if you get to play an old Pac-12 team, it's always cool for the culture. But man, we're missing a bowl game for year 2 of Kenny Dillingham's career, guys.
I mean, it was always going to take a while. It was always going to take a while. He inherited.
He did things this year, man.
He inherited a bad.
It was
Kenny
went out.
Remember,
to prove himself.
we're 30th in the nation in transfers.
Yeah.
30th, man.
That's
really, really
but he
good.
inherited one of
who did he? Oh yeah, the bad program.
The bad program, man. And
that's what I told Graham Rossini. Shout out athletic director Graham Rossini. I told him, I'm like, man, you're really taking over on a program that was honestly in shambles. So props to you for taking this position, man.
Yeah.
It was cool. I got to serve him at my job, and he was really good energy, a really good guy. So I think it's just all going to translate good energy, and that's the only way we get up 500. I think we have to go 500 this year, or probably Dillingham's going to be... he won't be on the hot seat for year 3. He has 4 years. It's a 4-year process, but...
Yeah, they got to give him time. I mean...
Yeah. I just think I think honestly that the recruitment process during the offseason gets so much better. Yeah. Like, I feel like so many sophomores that have been... or so many people that are going to be sophomores come 2025 are just going to really step up to the plate, and I just feel like the transfer portal for us is only going to get better with the type of people that we have now. For coaches like Hines, I feel like he's going to be able to pick up a wide receiver whoever he wants, quite literally. And same thing with tight ends. Hines loves tight ends. Like, that was one of his biggest moves with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets, was he loved targeting guys in the draft that had potential to be tight ends who were wide receivers, or tight ends that were going to become wide receivers. Mm-hmm. That was always a huge move for him during his early coaching days with Pittsburgh. And I think that honestly, like, we're going to have one of the best wideouts, some of the best slot receivers in the next few years to come with Hines Ward's coaching.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's it. That's our first year in the Big 12. We're out of the pack. Brings new opportunities for us.
Sheesh.
Totally.
More opportunities to get our butt kicked. Because I think the 2 blowout games are going to be Utah and BYU. I think they both kick our butts, man. It sucks. But
yeah, I mean,
those teams always come in and they're like, ASU bet, forks up, nah, bruh. You guys look like spoons to me.
Yeah.
BYU, I think that's a game we take. I know
always
so many
legit.
people.
I know
they
run.
are. I
They
know
stop
they
the
are.
run.
And that's something that
And it's gonna piss us off in the moment. We're gonna
definitely is. I'm gonna be at that game frustrated, but I'm still gonna
Yeah.
stick with my prediction.
We're
to
gonna
the
be at a
end.
lot of games frustrated, bro.
Yeah.
I think
Think
so.
about it, bro. I think the most frustrating
And hopefully
moment
we're not
next year will be Jalen Daniels running it, taking a 40-yard touchdown on with his leg.
And hopefully we're not
pissed.
the only fans this year too.
No, we're gonna, like I said, people are gonna want to be on the vlog.
Oh yeah.
That's how it's gonna go.
Come out. You can be a part of the vlog, dude. It's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy. Hey, it was a great show, guys. I wanted to kind of wrap up whole new year, Big 12. I just wanted to kind of highlight, what a new media deal can do for a program. If we
Yes.
look at the pros, there's examples of teams getting so much better and teams getting worse. If we look at the LA Dodgers in the mid-2000s, they signed a revolutionary TV deal that completely changed the course of their franchise. Now they have one of the greatest baseball players of all time, Shohei Ohtani, and that TV deal is the reason they're able to do stuff like that. And then you look at, the Seattle Mariners bought Root Sports, and guess what? It has ruined their franchise. They can't sign players, so it's all.
Just think of Pac-12.
Yes.
Media ruined
Yes,
Pac-12.
it ruined Pac-12. It's all about what we're able to do with it, and I think this new athletic director, I really hope that he's able to create something great with this new media deal, because this is kind of a make or break time for ASU. They've been bad for a couple years, and if you don't pull yourself out, will you ever?
Well, look at the SEC. What's their new media rights deal?
Let's look at it. It's something big. I believe it's around. No, let's look. $3 billion, $300 million annually.
$300 million annually just to be on ESPN, and that is why college football is so freaking big, because the fans are gonna pay to watch it. The sponsors are gonna pay to be sponsored.
Totally.
The players are gonna want to get paid to shout out and get their brand exposed. I mean, it's gonna be a cool journey for sure, and I think it's really cool because now we're a part of a football-centered conference. The Big 12 is us. The Big 12 is football.
Yeah.
And so finally, we're gonna get to flourish under being ourselves.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think that might be it for the
Yeah.
show. It was a great show. First
Good
one.
first show, guys. Totally.
Trev, Kai,
And Strike.
and Strike, dude.
Yeah.
So much fun. Follow
Strike High and Trev.
Strike Kai and Trev.
Yes.
Yeah.
Follow. We're gonna be covering all Arizona sports this year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an incredible journey. Main focus obviously is gonna be ASU. Okay,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of fun, but
Especially basketball, bro.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I
Oh my
can't.
gosh, Phoenix Suns. Can't wait for that season.
No, ASU.
Suns. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm so sad about Frankie Collins though. Still.
Oh, don't
about
worry,
the
don't
transfer
worry.
portal.
We got
I
so much more
completely
talent.
understand.
We got so much more talent now, bro. We're
Yeah.
totally fine.
But
Yes.
Kai, he's gonna be covering the D-backs. I got Suns. We got
you know.
Cardinals,
Yep.
and stay tuned. Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
no, thank you for staying around for the 480 experience, the 480 podcast. I'm excited to have you guys in the audience for the next few months, alright? It's gonna be a wonderful journey. But again, for more vlogs, more pods to come, alright guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See you guys later.